Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is HD Starcraft, and I'm back for Game 2 between Quantic Hyun, the red Zerg player in the top left-hand corner of Star Station, and his opponent is going to be in the bottom right-hand corner. That is, of course, EG Jaedong, and this is, once again, the Grand Finals. Jaedong's fourth attempt here to get first place, get that prize money, and get the recognition and respect he deserves. Yeah, you know, no one wants to be known as the Silver Stork. Poor Stork. Stork is a player in Brood War who used to get second place all the time, so yeah. No one wants to be known as a Silver Stork, and Jaedong here, I'm sure he wants that first place grand prize very, very badly. He's on the way here. He's won the first game in this set with a really good start, actually. 10 pool aggression into Baneling Zerglings and Roaches, and he was able to dominate Hyun into submission, and Hyun is no slouch. I've casted a ton of games of Hyun before. He's released several replay packs. Well considered to be one of, actually a huge fan favorite, and well considered to be one of the best Zerg players in the world. So this is, as I've said before in the last game, if you're looking for a epic top tier ZvZ, this is the one to watch. So let's go ahead and get into this game. Game 2, without further ado, is going to be on Star Station, and it's going to be cross spawn as well. Both overlords will be kissing pretty soon here, so they'll know that they have spawned on the other side of the map. And I think with this map comes a lot of times 15 hatching. It is probably the best way to go, but Jaedong is going to be opening up with a spawning pool first this time as well. Note, this is not a 10 pool. This is a little bit later. I believe he threw it down around 14 supplied, so it's a 14 pool. And the reason why you do this instead of 15 hatching is it's like the scissor in between the paper and the rock. It's the middle ground. And it keeps you safe against an early pull from your opponent, but at the same time, it's not as economical as a Zerg player going for a hatchery first, so it's a little bit of a trade-off. And I'm a little surprised Jaedong went for that on a map like Star Station. I think on Star Station, it's almost default. You go for 15 hatch first, but nevertheless, I think both of these players are, you know, you can't judge them by the opening build. It's all going to come down to their world-class Zerg play style here, and I'm very excited to be able to see these two players go at it heads up in action. This is going to be awesome, and it looks like Hyun is going to be finishing up the spawning pool pretty soon here, and he is going to realize quite quickly that Jaedong is not going for an early 10 pool. Once this Overlord sees that there's only 2 Zerglings coming out and not 4 or more, you immediately know. Then you can see there Hyun clicks on the Overlord. You immediately know, okay, that's a minimal amount of Zerglings. If my opponent was going for an early 10 pool, there'd be like 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 30 million Zerglings coming right now. But thankfully there is not for Hyun. And I think Hyun can breathe a sigh of relief there. A 15 hatch is well, good enough in order to defend, 2 Zerglings at this point. So, yeah, these 2 Zerglings are going to make their way over. They will be used for scouting for Jaedong. Unlikely he's going to get any drone kills here. You can see great micro right there from Hyun. Oh, double microing the drone. And looks like he's been able to pound these Zerglings down. And now that the queen is out, boom, boom. And, oh, actually that one last Zergling will get into the main base, but won't be able to see anything critical as it does go down to the second queen. So great hold by Hyun. In fact, the only thing, he didn't lose anything, I don't think. If we look at the units lost tab, very minimal losses here, obviously. And some of that is due to the extractor cancellation that he pulled off a few seconds ago to save that drone. So both of these players are neck and neck right now, I have to say. And Jaedong has quickly overcome any deficit that he had by opening up with an earlier pool, because he is droning up like a madman. Remember, Jaedong is the blue Zerg player, and he has got a lot of drones on the way. So does Hyun, though. And you know, on this map, once you've both got 2 bases down and you've got overlords on both sides of the map, you know what your opponent is doing. You can drone up very safely, and that's what both players are typically going to do. Now, I like what Jaedong is doing here. He's pulled off 2 queens, and the reason for this is he doesn't want to let his opponent have overlord vision scouting on his side of the map. And honestly, if you can put the 2 queens underneath the overlord without Hyun noticing in time, then it guarantees the kill. And it is a little risky to send the queens out here, but when you have overlords of your own scouting on the other side of the map, you can see. And so it's the same thing here. Hyun is doing the same exact thing. He knows that, okay, my opponent's not sending anything on the ground. I'm going to send my 2 queens out now, and I'm going to pick off your overlords, or at least push them away. But Jaedong is quickly pulling his overlord. No, he's not actually going to save them, so one overlord might go down here. Actually, it looks like it is going to just barely survive. Nice movement. Nice timing right there from Jaedong. And so that is, you know, critical in StarCraft 2. The scouting overlords, every little bit does count. Actually, the overlord will not make it out of harm's way, so I do apologize. I thought it was going to be able to. But it does go down to the queens. And that is why 2 queens are better than 1, I suppose. Baneling Nest is on the way right now for Jaedong. It looks like he is going to be going with some Baneling Zergling here. And always keep an eye out when you're watching ZvZ for those mutas. I'm very much excited to see him go into lair and start to get mutas on the way. But in fact, he has not started his lair yet. In fact, Hyun is the one who's going to be going for lair first, rather than Jaedong. And it looks like he's also got a round of upgrades before Jaedong does as well. So Hyun's got +1/+1 on the way. Although a lot of Zerglings are making their way over right now. And it looks like Jaedong is going to be going for an attack once again. He's going to try to commit everything to destroying this 3rd hatchery. And I think once again, Hyun is going to just have to cancel this off. There's no way he can keep it alive. But Hyun does have a very good building setup here, borrowing a page out of the Protoss book. And it looks like he's got his queens in position as well. I think he will be able to make a hold. He's pulling drones off the line at the same time. The Roach Warren, the Evolution Chambers, the queens, everything working together to block off this Zergling attack. Just a great building setup, and the drones and the queens even coming out here to help defend, and all these Zerglings are going to go down. Beautiful hold by Hyun, and now roaches are popping out as well, so yeah, those Zerglings were unable to punch through the front door, although Jaedong will at the very least take a consolation prize home, and that is of course killing off the 3rd hatchery, but I don't even think it was a kill, it was just a cancel. So wow, great hold by Quantic Hyun there. And he is really in good shape right now, because if you look at the units lost tab, a lot more resources lost for Jaedong than Hyun has lost. What a start here for Hyun in game 2, and just a beautiful play. You know, it wasn't even that he saw the Zerglings coming, it was just that, hey, I'm going to build a wall at my front door, I'm going to make sure that it's pretty much Zergling proof in case Jaedong decides to go for an attack. And Jaedong is known to be a very aggressive Zerg player. This time around, it doesn't work out for him, and now Hyun is going to be teching up into Hydralisks. And Roach Hydras are one of the best, if not the best compositions, I think, in Zerg vs. Zerg at layer tech. I do think it can beat out Mutalisks, especially if you get the jumpstart producing Hydras before Mutas come out. And in this situation, yeah, Jaedong hasn't even started a Spire yet. He is still on Roaches himself, and this is not a good situation. He does have 124 supply. He does have a supply lead in drones as well. But I feel like as soon as Hyun, moves out and attacks, I think he's going to have the army advantage, as he started up Roaches and Hydras much sooner. The only thing, though, one thing is Hyun did lose the 3rd hatchery, whereas Jaedong has been mining out of this for some time. So yeah, this is actually quite close for a Zerg versus Zerg. A couple of Zerglings here from Jaedong on the left in Xel'Naga Tower. It looks like he might be planning to go in for some type of attack over here, maybe to disrupt the mining at that 3rd expansion. But right now, Jaedong has his hands full with defending, as Quantic Hyun is coming in here with a lot of Roaches and Hydras. He does have a +1 missile upgrade advantage, but that just got evened out as Jaedong finished up one weapon himself as well. And looks like both players are going to be finishing up Carapace at the same time, but it doesn't matter because Hyun is now going to retreat. He's going to pull away. I'm guessing here some of the Zerglings ran in and were quickly killed off, but Hyun was pulling back because he saw those Zerglings coming in and wanted to defend against those just in case. Meanwhile, Jaedong now going over to the right-hand side, checking to see if there's anything over there. Nothing but an Overseer that's just scoping out the landscape. And it looks like Jaedong finally going to be adding on a Hydralisk Den of his own. Great idea. I don't think you can win if you're just going purely straight up Roaches against Roach Hydra. You do need to add in some Hydras as well, or Infestors. You can't rely on that tier 1.5 technology forever. And right now, Jaedong is actually going to be going around the left-hand side here, going to try to go for a double-pronged attack, and he's going to hope that this Roach pack is going to be enough to distract Hyun, but Hyun is quickly moving back into position, and this is just so smart by Hyun. He knows, hey, just because there are Roaches over here doesn't mean there can't be something coming over here, and indeed there are, and Hyun now is going to have to split his attention. There are multiple battles going on right now. Will Hyun be able to save this 3rd hatchery? I think he will be able to. He's actually pulled back his entire army here. And so, gonna ward away the roaches on the left-hand side, and now it looks like Jaedong going in for a snipe on that spine crawler. Both players playing a little bit of cat and mouse right now, as they are rounding out their upgrades to 2-2 and adding on a ton of hydras as well. We're gonna have a good old-fashioned macro ZvZ with roaches and hydras here, ladies and gentlemen. And don't forget, this is the grand finals, so Jaedong is up 1 game in this set. If he wins this game, he only needs to win 1 more. Meanwhile, more roaches coming around the left-hand side. 1 queen going down in a bath of acid. 2nd queen going down as well. Jaedong sniping out the double queens over there on the left-hand side. Not bad at all, but has he been able to do enough damage? I think so far he's lost more than Hyun has. Remember, all those Zerglings at the beginning of the game weren't that cost-effective, and now he's going to be forced to defend once again. Will he be able to hold? Yeah, I think so. A lot of roaches and hydras here, bringing in a queen for extra measure as well. Watch as he uses the queen's energy for transfuse. So yeah, Jaedong is just on top of things, playing whack-a-mole all the while, but unfortunately for him, outnumbered by the enemy roaches and hydras, and now will be forced to pull away. If you guys are wondering why aren't the players getting hydra speed, although it looks like hydra speed now on the way for Jaedong, it's because it's a ZvZ. There's going to be creep everywhere. Hydra speed is not the most important upgrade to get, but eventually you do want to get it, and it looks like Jaedong is going to be grabbing that upgrade, but right now he's going to be worried about defending this 3rd expansion of his own. He's trying to bring out more Hydralists. Does he have enough? Now trying to support the Hydras with Zerglings because he cannot wait for roaches to come out. The Zerglings taking a couple of shots from the roaches and hydras, absorbing damage for Jaedong, but I don't think he's going to have enough. Hyun is going to have just barely enough hydras in order to win that battle, and now he's going to be able to take out this hatchery. It looks like Junseao pulling off the line, and Jaedong is just struggling to keep alive here. Unfortunately for him, the struggle is going to cost him several numbers of drones, and I don't know. I mean, he looks like he might just barely be able to hold off here, but he has taken a lot of damage. Units lost now reflecting 14k to 11k, but Jaedong is just gonna barely be able to hold. He makes a stand at the 3rd expansion, all the while going for a 4th hatchery as well as Hyun. Both players going for the 4th expansion now, so it's gonna be 4 bases against 4 bases, and somehow, some way, this is just going down to the wire. Both players extremely talented Zergs, and they are just, you know, that close in terms of skill that you can't really swing it one way or another. Both players are just that damn good, as Hyun comes in down to the 6 o'clock expansion, looking to do a little bit of damage over here as well, but Jaedong is in position once again with his roaches and hydras, and he is going to be able to defend. Wow, what a game so far between these 2 players. Let's look at some of these tabs here. APM 134, EPM, excuse me, 134 and 137 about. So both players having a solid amount of effective APM there. And really, will these players be going up to Hive Tech anytime soon? Is a question I'm looking to ask here, because they're both on layer, it looks like right now. Disappearing building once again. It looks like both of them are going to remain on layer for some time. I don't think I've ever really seen Jaedong go up to Hive Tech in a Zerg versus Zerg. I think I've seen Hyun do it once or twice before. The thing is, going up to Hive Tech, it's a huge investment, but a lot of times it is worth it to get that +3/+3 upgrade, and if you want to go for Brute Lords, it's also nice as well, and sometimes Ultras can be pretty good too. So yeah, I don't think it's a bad idea to go up to Hive Tech if you can find the resources to do so. And in fact, right now, speaking of resources, Hyun is losing some of it right now as he's trying to ward away these 5 or so roaches, and Jaedong is also pushing down the center line at the same time as well. Both of these guys employing you know, the best military strategy they can possibly think of in order to get the upper hand here and get the win. Both of them just struggling to damage each other's economies, going in with overseers to contaminate, roaches to hit, a few packs of drones, and of course splitting their armies into different chunks here. And it looks like now Jaedong is the one who's on the offensive. Does he have enough roaches and hydras to win this battle? Currently Jaedong has 22 roaches and 16 hydras. It looks like Hyun is going to have a slightly larger army, but Jaedong is continuing to reinforce this position, really pressing the issue here. He wants to take out that 12 o'clock expansion, but I think he might be outnumbered here. There's just so many hydras. And I think Jaedong might be best served falling back here. I'm not sure if he wants to stay to fight. Of course, as he's closer on enemy territory, the reinforcements arrive sooner for Hyun than they do for Jaedong, and Jaedong just has to pull away. Thankfully, he does have Hydra speed, so he can get his Hydras back home, and Hyun with another really nice hold. Both of these players just going eye for an eye here. Cat and mouse game of Zerg versus Zerg. Couple more roaches coming over to the third expansion. Will Jaedong be able to save this expo before losing drones? It looks like, yeah, he will. He's got 3 roaches here and a queen. Maybe the extractor could go down, but he's got more things to worry about right now as Hyun is pushing it down the gut with these roaches and hydras. Jaedong needs to get in position, otherwise he could lose his hatchery to a quick snipe. He needs to bring his roaches and hydras in, but he was not in position, and the hatchery goes down. A crippling blow has been dealt, and this is exactly what you want to do in ZvZ. Find an opportunity to run in there and snipe an expansion and pull out, and now Jaedong has lost one of his critical mining expos. All because Hyun was able to kind of finagle himself. He was able to masterfully work himself into that position. He sent some roaches over to the extractor, distracting Jaedong, and pulled Jaedong's forces into the middle here, and then just went for the run-by. It was a drive-by shooting of the hatchery, and it was perfectly executed. So Hyun gets that solid victory right there, and now Jaedong's got some serious catching up to do. He's down to 159 supply, 40 supply disadvantage, 1 hatchery disadvantage as well. Jaedong losing more roaches in here, and that is not a good way to go. Neither player has teched up to Hive yet. It's still a layer tech game, but I guess you don't really need to go to Hive, at least if you're Hyun right here, because you've got more roaches and hydras. And you've got another expansion, and he's just going to force Jaedong into typing out GG. Quantic Hyun is victorious. Game 2 going to Hyun, and now we are tied up at 1 apiece. We're going to go right into Game 3, guys. Stay tuned. This is HD signing out.